Look what my cat did to me. Damon. Hello, witches. It's Rain again. I'm back with a review this time of, finally, The Devil's Cold Dish by Eleanor Coons. It's the third book in a line of, no, it's not the third book. It's actually the last book in a line of series, or the most recent one. I don't know if they're gonna do another one after this, but it is, I accidentally picked it up at the library, not realizing that it was part of a series. And I got into it and I was like, am I missing everything? I was so confused. You definitely will have to read, well, I'm not gonna say you definitely will have to, because it was a very good standalone book, but it also had, you know, moments that went back to the other books, I'm assuming, and it was very confusing in some parts, because I'm like, what, do I need to read these things to understand what this certain part is talking about and things like that? So it's on my list of things to read. Not yet, because it wasn't my favorite novel, but it was compelling enough for me to want to read the previous four, just to, you know, get questions answered kind of thing. I was actually going to do like a get ready with me in this video because I look like shit with no makeup on, but I also don't really want to put makeup on. So you're gonna have to deal with makeupless me. I guess it's not that bad. It's just hot as hell in my room, and I know that if I put makeup on, I'm good. And I just know if I put makeup on, it's gonna get even worse. Why does it look like I have like a sore on my... There's nothing there. It's just discoloration. That's weird. This book itself is set in 1796 in Maine, a small town in Maine called Dugard, I think. I think it's Dugard. They talk about a couple towns in the book, and I don't know exactly, again, I don't know what happened in the last four books, but in this one, a man turned up dead. I can't remember his name. It was Zadok Ward, I think is his name. And you learn that at least in the previous books, the main character, Will Reese, has a really bad temper and can tend to get into fights with a lot of people around town. So everyone in town blames him for the death of this man. Or they blame his wife, who is a Quaker, is it Quaker? A Shaker? And say that she is a witch. And, you know, because they don't have, they don't carry the same religious, like, practices, I guess. So they blame her, saying she's a witch and that she was the reason behind his death too. And then as the book goes on, more deaths start happening in town, and they all link back to Will Reese, the main character, or they link back to him or to his wife, and basically he becomes like a pariah in town, an outcast. And you basically follow him for the whole book, trying to figure out and investigate what is happening with these murders, who's behind them, because he's obviously not. But it is one of those things where it's very confusing, because, not confusing, but it does tend to jump back and forth between suspects. So you're like, okay, I thought it was this guy, but nope, not anymore. And then you're like, what if it's Will Reese the entire time? What if it's the main character the entire time and he just doesn't remember? But no, it is not him. Spoiler alert, it is not him. It does a good job of keeping you on your toes, because I had no idea that it was going to be the person that it was at all. And it lasts literally to like the last page. Almost like at least within 3 pages of the last page. It drags on and on and on until the last page. You have no idea. So I will give it points in that, good points in that direction, is that it keeps you on your toes the whole time. It is a genuine mystery novel, which is what it is. It's a mystery. And you're like, okay, who is it now? Because they talk about so many different people. You're like, okay, it could be him. And then it doesn't happen. And you're like, okay, it could be that guy. Okay, no, it doesn't happen. Okay, it could be this woman. And it's like, who is it? I want to know now. I did give it the rating that I did just because, one, it's the fifth in the series, and I haven't read the other ones yet, so I was still kind of like grasping for straws about some things. And then also, she has a tendency, the writer does have a tendency to almost over explain things, and she just drags the writing on and on. Not so much, it was good in the aspect of trying to figure out who the killer was, but it also was not conducive to, it almost made me doze off a couple times, because I was like, okay, you over explain this, can we continue past this kind of thing? Some people like that. It just wasn't my cup of tea. Overall, in the grand scheme of wanting to hit home what it was trying to hit home and be a mystery novel, it worked out well in its favor, and it was good in that aspect. And it does make me want to pick up the other two. The other two. I keep thinking it's the third. The other four before, but bling bling, bling bling, bling bling. Didn't see there. If you like Icon, give it a thumbs up. Shit. I lied. I put on makeup. I can't help it. I look so bad without it. But anyways, let's get back to the serious stuff. I probably won't put those on this channel just because, one, I don't want to, and two, I don't want to focus on like one series as a whole. I want to focus on books themselves. If I like it enough, if I like a series enough, I will put it on the channel. But this one, at this rate, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I will say, spoilers, not so much spoilers. There are two scenes that are pretty graphic, two of the murders. I'm not going to go into detail about them, obviously. I'm just going to say, you know, the page numbers and everything. That way, if you want to skip that scene in particular and you don't want to think about it and you're easily, you know, triggered or easily grossed out or something, then you'll know. The first murder that is pretty graphic is on page 111. I will say 112 and 113 just because he tends to, the main character tends to look back over without meaning to, and it goes into detail again. It's pretty nasty. I didn't expect it because the first half of the novel doesn't really like go into gory detail, so I was a bit surprised, I will say that. The second one is on page 211. It's not as gory as the first one, but it is pretty, I don't know anybody's level, like, tolerance of violence and gory crap is, so I'm just gonna, you know, say it there. It's gross. Like I said, overall it was pretty decent novel. It definitely was a mystery novel, and it did a good job of stretching it out until like the last page. Like I said before, in that aspect it was like A+. Other than that, if you have a tendency to not like drawn out descriptions and things like that, I would probably steer away from her as a novelist. But since I'm already kind of like into it, I will read the previous four. It was good. I want to make these like funny, these videos funny, but they never are funny. My makeup ones are so much funnier, but I can try. Tallying together everything that I liked and disliked, I will be giving it a 3 out of 5 stars. Oh my god, I'm good. It was like, you can go check that out, my actual written review on Goodreads. It's not long, but it's there. You can follow me on Goodreads if you want. Everything will be down in the description below. So next week, I'll try to get another one in this week. I don't think so, because I wanted to do the trans flag with my cousin, but he and I will not be free to meet up with each other until probably after the New Year's, so we'll have to be patient with that one, I guess. I started a new book called The Silence by Sarah Rain. It's a horror book, so I'm really excited to do that one. I have no idea how I'm going to do anything on my face with that one. Might be something funky, hopefully. Funky for me. Every time I think I'm doing something funky, it ain't funky, but we'll try. We will try. So if you do like this video, which I will say these aren't my favorite to do just because I feel like they kind of don't have a place on this channel yet. I guess we'll just see once I get more done, or if I should just stick them in and do them at the same time as I do the makeup look. It might be what I end up doing, just because they'll make the videos longer, but it makes it easier to kind of, it makes it more organized. So I might go back and forth, we'll see. If you like this video and like the book, if you read it yourself or want to read it or whatever, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to. You don't have to. It'd be much appreciated, just like gifts. But you don't have to. You don't have to subscribe, but the gifts I will take. I hope to see you next time. Bye, witches. Say bye. Say bye. Hey, say bye. Say bling bling. Bling bling. Bling bling. You tired? Bye.